All right, what's good? What's good, man? Let's get into it. Throwback Thursday, people. Some of you are actually rocking with this series, and I appreciate that, people. I really do appreciate that. And, I want to talk about Throwback Thursday, and I want to talk about specific. Well, I don't think people forgot about this guy. I think people forgot about this guy's play. Mr. Big Chess, Mr. Cracker of the Year, Mr. CTE, as some of you guys will say it, Antonio Brown. Now, once again, I want to sit here and say I don't think people forgot about Antonio Brown because, he does a good job of people not forgetting about him. But I think people forget about how great this guy was on the field. On the field. Let me make that discernment. On the field. And I want to say this right here, right now. And I said this on stream before. I said it, but streams, usually, me and CEO's niche is in there, the guys who always follow us. So people click on my channel, new people who will return, whatever the case may be, who don't catch the live streams. I'm going to say this here, right now. Antonio Brown is a better wide receiver than Randy Moss. Antonio Brown is a better wide receiver, pure wide receiver than Randy Moss. No question about it. Antonio Brown is 5'9". They said he's 5'10". He looks 5'9". I stood next to Antonio Brown. I'm 6 foot, and dude was barely near my chin. Antonio Brown is a 5'9", 5'10", if you want to go on record, wide receiver who can play the X, the Z, the Y, who can run every route in the route tree, immaculate footwork, immaculate hands, showed up in the clutch, and made prolonged Big Ben's career for another 3 years. People don't talk about how Big Ben fell off ever since Antonio Brown left. And I get Le'Veon Bell has something to do with that. And I made a video about Le'Veon Bell. But Antonio Brown, people forget, the Steelers would have made the playoffs if the Browns would have beat the Ravens. That's it. Now, granted, you're asking the Browns to beat the Ravens, Lamar Jackson's rookie year. I remember it like it was yesterday. But the Pittsburgh would have won. And I think Pittsburgh swept the Ravens that year too, if I'm not mistaken. CEO, I know you're in the comment section. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Did Steelers, I think they got one game on you guys, but did the Steelers beat y'all twice in that season, Lamar Jackson's rookie year? I don't remember. I'm getting old. You feel me? But at the end of the day, people forget how great Antonio Brown was. Antonio Brown was the best receiver in the 2010s, not named Calvin Johnson. But hell, I don't even count Calvin Johnson because Calvin Johnson retired in 2013, 14, 15, somewhere around there. And listen, look, despite all of his off the field stuff, which, how you feel about it is what it is, Antonio Brown was a monster. He was a monster. As someone who's played wide receiver, and I'm 6 foot, but the other wide receivers that I played with were like 6'3", 6'4". I played in the slot. Some of my favorite film of watching, studying NFL players was Antonio Brown. His footwork was immaculate. The dude could catch. He can beat double teams. He got other open wide receivers. Juju Smith-Schuster's best year was when Antonio Brown was on the team. Notice how Juju's been a bum or he's been mid ever since he stopped playing with Antonio Brown. Has anybody not noticed that? It was always, you could get rid of Antonio Brown. You got Juju Smith-Schuster. What the hell did Juju Smith-Schuster do in 2019? Nothing. He got injured. What did he do in 2020? Nothing. What has he done with the Chiefs? Nothing. He's a glorified number 2. Antonio Brown made him good. When all the focus is going towards Antonio Brown, who still put up 12,000 yards and 8-9 touchdowns, and Juju's gonna be open, of course Juju's gonna cook. Of course, Martavis Bryant was cooking with the Steelers before he got popped for PEDs or weed or whatever the case may be. Like, at the end of the day, say what you want about Antonio Brown off the field. This guy is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's one of the greatest receivers, pure receivers ever. And people keep asking me, oh, RJ, what do you mean by pure receiver? I mean, there's a difference between a pure wide receiver and a wide receiver. There's a difference between Antonio Brown and Randy Moss. There's a difference between Larry Fitzgerald and Des Bryant. I want to let you guys in on something because people are going to be like, how can you sit here and say Antonio Brown's a better wide receiver or pure wide receiver than Randy Moss. I'm going to give you an example. Larry Fitzgerald came in 2003 or 2004, whatever year Eli, Big Ben, and all those guys came in, right? Follow me here. Larry Fitzgerald came in 2004. I think that's what it was, 2004. He retired in TRL. I don't know if you're watching. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I think he retired in 2021, 2022, somewhere around there. Let's just say 2021. Dez Bryant came in the league in 2010. It was, let's be for real, Antonio Brown was out of the league in 2017 or 2018. He had that little stint with the Ravens that was in 2020 or 2019. CEO, you can correct me if I'm wrong there, because I remember he had like a 5-game stretch with the Ravens. But he was out of the league, literally out of the league. How can a guy who came in 6 years before Dez Bryant last longer, a year or two longer than Dez Bryant? Because Larry Fitzgerald is a better pure wide receiver. He can play the X, he can play the Z, he can play the Y, he can run any route. Any route. The curl, the flat, the zig, the post, the streak. It doesn't matter. Dig, in and out, doesn't matter. He can do it all. Dez Bryant couldn't do that. It's the same thing with Randy Moss and Antonio Brown. Randy Moss is a freak of nature, no question about it. He couldn't play the Y. He couldn't play the Z. All he could do was just run up the field because he can run a 4.2 and could jump 10 feet up in the air. But isn't it funny how after those Patriot years, he was out of the league? And I'm going to say this before I end the video. I'm going to say this right now. If Antonio Brown wanted to play in the NFL right now, he could. He could. Or if he wasn't acting so stupid, he could be in the NFL right now. Now, granted, will he be Antonio Brown from 2016? No, but he'll still be dominant. But, it is what it is. That's Throwback Thursday. What are your thoughts? RJ out.